In today's episode of the Platform Presents podcast, I have an interesting guest here with me today. I'm with Alexia James. She is hailing over from Mystique Integrated, and she's a digital marketing manager there. And today we're going to be learning what Mystique Integrated is all about and essentially how she's thinking about growth for the company and the clients. So welcome to the show, Alexia.
Thank you. Hi, everybody. It's great being on Pot Monk, and I'm really excited to be a part of this conversation.
Very cool. Give us an insights, that 360 overview. What is Mystique all about?
Sure. So Mystique is actually a 360 marketing agency. So from conceptualization straight through to execution in terms of through the line brand campaigns, commercials, TVCs, media buying, then we go into digital and digital media buying and all of that. So it's really full scope in terms of every single touch point of your marketing journey and your marketing campaign journey. And that's really what we do in terms of specializing in that and curating experience for our brands. And of course, then their customers to interact and engage with their brands.
Makes a whole lot of sense. Very good. That gives us a brief overview. Tell us maybe, what types of companies do you typically work with? What's the company that gets the most benefits from working with Mystique?
All of them, definitely all. But we work with a lot of alcohol brands, and personally, those are my favorite because you just get to do a lot of creative things with those brands, and they allow you to just have creative freedom. Of course, you still have your client relationship and the expectations and goals and KPIs that they have, but you really get to do outside of the box and outwardly things because Mystique is based in Jamaica. So Jamaica is in the Caribbean, and of course, just what we execute here is for this market, but also for other markets in this region, and then sometimes for other markets outside of this region as well. So we do get to get really creative with those brands, but really we always do amazing things for all of our clients.
Awesome. Very cool. And who would typically be the person from those, let's say, those alcohol brands that you're working with that would be reaching out? Is that like a marketing manager, or does it come from any other sides of the business?
It's usually the marketing manager. Sometimes it would even be like the CEO. And then of course it'll filter down to the person in charge in terms of the marketing manager. But that's usually the case in terms of those persons get in touch with us after seeing the quality of work that we do and the output of work that we do as well. So that's usually the case, yeah.
I see. And how do these folks actually hear about Mystique? Like, what would you say are the sort of the top client acquisition channels that you guys are leveraging?
Definitely social media. So in terms of just seeing what we do and seeing how it's there on digital and how people see it, that's definitely the main thing. You might go on our Instagram page and you may not see much because the owner of the company, he wants to be really specific in terms of what he's putting on that channel, but our work speaks for itself. So when we do a TVC and it goes on that platform, for that brand, and then even when the different suppliers involved, like the directors, producers, etc., post it, they always go back to Mystique, and Mystique being the basically one thing that brings all of these people together to create this amazing things in terms of the amazing content outputs. So I think social media is like the main driving channel, and then of course real life, even though COVID has affected that a bit in terms of just event executions and stuff like that, but people just experiencing what we do and just seeing even our designers and what they do, because they talk about their personal brands a lot on their own social media channels, and that of course just trickles down in terms of person saying Mystique did that. So yeah,
makes sense. We had a bit of a chat prior, and you mentioned inbound, and a lot of people actually, there's quite a bit of a brand awareness for Mystique, specifically in the region where you were describing. What role do you think the website plays for Mystique?
I think the website is the main hub, because people go there and they see the services that we offer. We also have our full team on our website. So every single person at the company is on our website and their roles. So that just also gives you a sense of familiarity for who are the people, the humans behind the work. So I think that helps a lot. And then from our website, we have our main email on there, and then any new clients usually just send requests to that email. So want to work with us or to give us a project or request a proposal or put out a bid, etc. So yeah.
Very cool. Yeah, I had a quick check on the website prior to the conversation, and you guys, have a lot of great visuals about the types of work that you're doing on the website, and you mentioned the team. So there's a lot of strength to the website. Where do you see room for improvement? Every marketer I meet, they always see something, to where do you would like the websites, develop towards to?
I think it could just be a bit more experiential in terms of we could also put like the videos that we've done in terms of the TVCs that we've executed on there, just so that people could even see like a little portfolio where you see those things, just to give it a little more tangible feel in terms of some of the work that we've done. I think that would be really good, like a video reel of some of the projects. So I think that's something we could definitely add to it.
I see. Cool. Very cool. Some more interactivity on the website. Very, very nice. One question that is, maybe specific to Mystique, but also, throughout your experience that you collected, like, given that the website, plays a big role, like how do you typically go about as a digital marketer figuring out, why people do or do not convert on the website? Any approaches, any tools, maybe something that you could share on how you think about, making sure people actually sign up and contact you guys from the website?
Yeah, so I definitely think it's around the content, and the content is like a few things. So it's the visuals that are there, it's the copy that is in, and it's of course the call to action that's happening. So I think those three things are integral for any website: business, personal brand, service, product based. I think those are super important, because you have seen where sites may not be as pretty and as well designed, but just because of the functionality of it, you know exactly where to go and what to do, you get higher conversions. So I think that's like the main things to look at for any sites, period. Gotcha. Like at all.
Yeah, makes sense. No, makes sense. I mean, one thing that recently came up about sites that we've been hearing a bit on the podcast, and it's an emergent topic, and if it's not relevant for you guys yet, just let me know and we move on. Does the cookieless future, like, do your clients already, ask you, hey, cookies are going to be, third-party cookies are going to be gone end next year? Is that something that is already coming up in the conversations, or is that, a little bit of the future yet at the moment?
That's not something in the conversations yet, but it's very interesting that you brought it up, because that means that they probably aren't thinking about that yet. So that is still very interesting, because of course we know that the overall digital space is literally shifting every day, especially when you look at Web3 and NFTs and just like that whole digital realm, in terms of just the metaverse and all those different things. And then what role are websites even going to play, like when those worlds exist, you know what I mean? So it is a very interesting place and just like discussion to have. So.
Yeah. Very cool. Cool. Let's switch gears a little bit. I would love to learn more about you as a marketer and a person, really. So what I'm curious about, right? There's so much content on digital marketing out there. There's tons of blogs and tons of, resources. What's your favorite places to go and read, given, there's so much noise as well out there on that type of content?
So to read, definitely some of the different third-party blogs, so like Sprout Social and Later and HubSpot, they have really great like blogs. But I am a very visual person as well, and somewhere that I've been getting a lot of really good like marketing intel recently is actually TikTok, which I know sounds weird, but it's just put in such a bite-sized way. And then as in some marketers, there's a lot of tools and things that everybody may not know about. So you might be doing one thing and it works, but there's several ways to do the same thing. So I've just been learning a lot of new ways to just do things creatively and look into new tools and stuff like that. So I've been getting a lot of value from niching down within that platform and like getting different creators that just talk about digital marketing. Because it was so ironic, because I had a friend who was at a conference this week and he was like taking a photo of something somebody was saying in terms of a tool that could be utilized. And I was like, I literally learned this on TikTok like 2 weeks ago. And he had to go to an entire conference and see a slide. So just in terms of how you could switch in terms of consuming information and knowing where to look, I think the platforms are shifting. Somewhere I get a lot of information too is Twitter, because there's marketing Twitter, and of course Twitter's now going into their communities. So they're communities that are just sharing more information based on the industry and niche that you want to get to know about. So that's been a really great thing, where people are speaking more about like copyright and doing like full threads of all this information for free, you know what I mean? And then of course I really like Skillshare, but I don't really do Skillshare for digital marketing. And right now I'm doing like sales funnels right now, just to understand that a bit better, to just understand the buyer journey more, and then of course touch on that whole thing I just spoke about in terms of websites and what makes people convert, and just understanding that buyer journey, and then being able to tailor your content for each aspect and really getting people to nurture and through that transition. So I think that's something that's super important that I think all digital marketers should just dive deeper into, because of course right now we're all on content, making it amazing, making it hype viral, but like I think understanding the customer translates into your content being impactful and viral. So that's just something personally that I'm doing. But I feel like I went off topic, but yeah.
Very cool. No, but super interesting. So TikTok seems to be like a surprisingly great channel for you to learn much more about, B2B marketing. It sounds like very cool. Good. I have some rapid fire questions to wrap it up and get to know a little bit more on your insights. So you ready for those?
Yeah.
What's the one single thing that Mystique is focused on the most at the moment?
Digital.
If there would be no boundaries in technology, everything is possible, right? What's the one thing that you would fix for your role today?
Being able to work anywhere in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What's the last thing that kept you awake at night about the company?
Self-automation.
Mm-hmm. And for the last one, I want to sort of do a little bit of a time travel, right? Let's go to your very first day you're joining Mystique. What's the one advice that you would give yourself?
It would be the advice that I took, which was just try everything.
Try everything? Very cool. Alex, I really appreciate that you took the time to be a guest on Pathmark Presents. I want to give you the last word. If somebody would be forgetting all that we discussed about Mystique, what's the one thing that they should remember?
Less steps, deeper footprints. So just being way more strategic in terms of the impact that you're trying to make. That's actually the slogan for Mystique. And I think it's really something that you could take into your personal life, personal businesses, that when you go deeper, people remember you, people come back to you, and people want to work with you. So, yeah.
Thanks a lot for being a guest on Pathmark Presents.
Thank you for having me.